Hi everyone, Omri here. I want to show you today a few interesting things you can try with the A-RYTH-MATIK sequencer. I have it loaded with the Euclidean sequencer. There are other firmwares you can explore. There will be a link in the description to where you can find them. But basically we have 6 outputs, 6 gate outputs, 6 sequencers that we can program differently and get all sorts of interesting and unique rhythms. So something I really like doing is pinging filters and exciting other modules like delays, for example. We'll see this also later on. But if I hit play, right, I have here channel 1. You can see I have a length of 5 steps. And I have all in all 2 steps active or 2 hits, right? And the Euclidean sequence or the Euclidean sequencer will distribute these hits as evenly as possible. So in this case, we have 1 hit on step 1 and another one on step 4, right? So we have a Euclidean sequence. Now what I will do, I will use this to ping a filter. I have here the waves filter from After Later Audio. So I'm going to send this directly to the input of the filter, right? Now what we get are basically the gates themselves. I have here a bandpass filter, and with the resonance I can start adding this pinging tone to it. Right, and we get this nice percussive sound. Now the length of the gate will very much change or will dictate the result. Right, so I have here another channel. Right, in this case I have 10 steps and 3 hits active. And what I will do, I will use it to trigger Rampage that I have here. This will work also with maths and also with other function generators and basically any module that you can use to change and control the length of the gate. Right, and this will ping another filter. So I will take the second channel and I will trigger Rampage. This will ping the Ikari filter that I have here. Again, with the resonance, I can add this pinging tone. Right, let me take the first filter here down. So now we listen just to the Ikari filter, to the second sequence, the second rhythm. Right, and now with Rampage I can start changing the length of the gate and listen to what happens to the sound. Right, we start getting flums, so 2 hits really closely together. And we can also get distinct hits or 2 hits for each active step on the sequencer. Right, and of course I can also modulate this and add movement. So I have here the voltage block that I will use to modulate the gate length. Right, so we get some variation. I will bring back the first filter here. Right, and again we have up to 6 channels we can use. So I have here another sequence, in this case with 9 steps and just 2 hits. And instead of pinging a filter, I will use it to excite a delay, which can get also quite interesting. So what I have here, I have Starlab from Strymon, which is basically a reverb module, but it has also a dedicated delay mode, which is perfect for this. So I will use the third channel of A-RYTH-MATIK, and I will ping the delay. Right, now with the delay time I can tune it. Right, of course we need very short delay times. And then with the feedback we can control the decay. Right, of course I can add also modulation to this, also from the voltage block. Right, so we can also excite delays directly with the gate outputs from the A-RYTH-MATIK. I will add a bass to this that I have here with Morphogene. thing we can try, since we have 6 outputs, we can chain them with something like a sequential switch and create a much longer and interesting sequence. So here I have the sequential switch from Doppler. I have up to 4 inputs, but I'm going to use just 3 in this case. And this will trigger a voice that I have here. Right, so now what I will do, this is, for example, the first sequence. Right, in this case with 7 steps. Then I have the second sequence with 5 steps. And then I have the third sequence with 9 steps. So again, I'm going to chain them and connect them all to the sequential switch, right? So we have here the first sequence, then the second one, and then the third. And then for the clock to tell the sequential switch when to switch between these sequences, I'm going to use another sequence. In this case, it has 16 steps, but only the first step is active. So every 16 steps, the switch will switch between the rhythms, and we get something a bit more interesting. Right, the first one, second, third. Right, so we get a longer sequence. I will add some delay to this that I have here with Magneto. Just for fun, I have here also a sort of a drone. And I also have hi-hat, so I will use another I will use another sequence here, sequence number 5. Right, in this case we have 12 steps. Something that's really easy to do with Euclidean sequencers is creating polyrhythms, not polymeters, but polyrhythms. So the first step will always be the same, it will always happen at the same time. For example, let's say that we want to have a polyrhythm of 3/4. So we have to find the lowest common denominator, which will be 12. And basically what you do is you multiply 3 by 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. Right, so we will have 2 sequences that will have the same length. Both of them will have the length of 12, as I have here, right? I have one channel with 12, and I have another channel with 12. And now we need one channel, one sequence to have 3 steps or 3 active steps, and another channel to have 4 active steps. And again, the Euclidean sequencer will distribute them as evenly as possible. So here I have 3 steps on this channel, and on this channel I have 4 steps. So now we have a polyrhythm of 3/4, right? If I use them, I have here a few voices, 4 different oscillators that we will use eventually. Right, so I have here 2 envelopes. If I use this is one rhythm, right? And then we have another rhythm. Right, so again I have 12 steps all in all on both of them, one with 3 hits, one with 4 hits, and we get a 3/4 polyrhythm. Right, these 2 voices are going through Magneto. If I just add a bit of delay, we get even a more complex rhythm. Right, just a bit. Now let's say that we want another polyrhythm, we want a 5/6. So again, we need to multiply 5 by 6, this is 30. A-RYTH-MATIK with this firmware goes to up to 32 steps, which is perfect. So I have here 2 more channels, both of them are set with 30 steps. Right, we have channel 3 and channel 4 with 30 steps, and then one will have 5 hits. Right, and the other one will have 6 hits. So you will have 5/6, and again I have here, maybe in this angle you can see it better, I have two more envelopes that I can use with two more voices. Right, so this is one, and then another one. Right, so now we have 4 different rhythms going 2 times, right, 2 pairs of polyrhythms, one 3/4 and one's 5/6. Right, this one is going through Starlab again as a sort of a delay. And I have here also morphogene. I don't think you can see it, but it's here with the bass. The last thing I want to show you is how you can combine multiple sequences and create a new unique sequence out of them with the help of logic. So the first thing what I'm doing here, instead of using the sequences themselves to sequence voices, I'm using them to drive sequencers. This is something you should definitely explore. Here I have the voltage multistage from Verbos, and I have here the octone. And here I have 2 different rhythms, right? I have on the first channel, I have 12 steps with 5 hits. And on the second channel, I have 10 steps with 7 hits. So again, 2 Euclidean sequences. And in this case, they are the clock signals for 2 sequences. So if I drive this, right, we have one Euclidean sequence driving the multistage and another one driving the octone, and they are sequencing 2 different voices. Right, so this is already something you should definitely explore, driving other sequencers with the Euclidean sequences. And again, I have here 2 different sequences that I can then combine with logic and create a new sequence that will be related to both of them. So what I have here, I hope you can see this, I have here the EAS module from Instruo, and up here we have end logic, which means only when one channel or one sequence and the other are playing at the same time, only when they are both high at the same time, we will get a gate out of the end logic, right? So I'm just going to use copies of these 2 sequencers, right? Connect them to the logic module. And then from here, I will use the output to trigger a sort of a bass voice that I have here. Right, so again, we have 2 Euclidean sequences that I'm then combining with end logic to create a new sequence out of them, but it's still related to them. It will happen only when both of them are active at the same time. Right, so again, there's a lot more to explore with Euclidean sequencers, a lot more to explore with A-RYTH-MATIK. Again, it has up to 6 channels you can use. But that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Cheers!